Well, not every game is a top play. Sometimes the data is showing conflicting information. It's not an easy pick, but these allow the sharps to lean to one side or the other. Frank Stampfl from Sports Grid is here to help us find the sharp edge on these tough ones. These tough ones that don't exactly have a clear-cut leader, I guess, if you will. That's why they're the leans. So I guess we're going to start with the Jaguars, who are giving 3.5 in Cincinnati. The public tickets are on Jacksonville. The money is on Jacksonville. Is this one we just shouldn't overthink?
Yeah, I think so. Look, the Cincinnati Bengals, they've kind of looked lost at times this season under Zach Taylor, first-year head coach. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to trading away Jalen Ramsey, who was obviously their top defensive player, their top player in their secondary, but overall, they still do generate a lot of pressure. They are 5th in the NFL in sacks this season. They are 8th in pressure rate, and if you've ever seen an Andy Dalton game where he's under pressure, then you've seen all of them, because you know that he doesn't react well to pressure, and you know, they're called Saxonville for a reason. I think they'll be able to gain some pressure here, and ultimately, both of these defenses struggle against the run, which is not something we're used to seeing out of Jacksonville. Out of Cincinnati, yes, but both of these defenses are allowing over 5 yards per carry right now to opposing running backs. The thing is, I don't trust the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line enough for Joe Mixon to see room to make plays there.
Right.
You know, while the Jacksonville Jaguars defense has struggled to stop the run, I don't think that the Bengals offensive line will be able to take advantage of it enough. We've seen Leonard Fournette this year have some monster games, have a game over 200 yards rushing against the Denver Broncos. So I think this is going to be a game where, you know, if Jacksonville gets ahead a little bit and the Cincinnati Bengals fall behind, they're going to have to drop back, they're going to have to pass a little bit, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be able to let some of those ends, you know, come in and attack Andy Dalton with that pressure that they create.
So Minshew mania lives at least for another week. Is this like a week-to-week kind of a thing for him? Or are you seeing a quarterback are you seeing at least the beginnings of a quarterback that can be a legitimate winning starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, he can make the plays on the field. You know, the games that we've seen in primetime, the Tennessee Titans game comes to mind, where he made plays all over the place. He should have more than 9 touchdowns on the season. A few of his wide receivers have dropped touchdowns so far this year. So, I mean, for him to come in as a 6th-round rookie, complete 64% of his passes, 9 passing touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. DJ Chark having a breakout season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They used 2nd-round pick on him a year ago. They still have D.D. Westbrook. So I think they have enough in order to make plays here, and it's not a huge line. Look, you win by, you get a 4-point lead, you get a touchdown lead here. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense will still be able to do enough where they keep the Cincinnati Bengals at bay.
And depending on how Ramsey was, I guess, felt about in that locker room, sometimes it can be an addition by subtraction kind of a thing. Losing their best cornerback might actually be beneficial to that Jacksonville defense. All right, the Niners giving 9.5 in Washington. Now, given the strength of the San Francisco defense, a straight-up shutout might be on the table here. So 9.5 actually looks decent.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when it comes to San Francisco, their defense this year, we just saw what they did against the Los Angeles Rams. They limited that offense to 157 total yards, Steve. 78 yards passing for Jared Goff in today's NFL, 2019, you limit a quarterback of that stature, of that offense. Sean McVay, who's known for his offense,
Super Bowl
157 total yards so far this season. The San Francisco 49ers are allowing 4.3 yards per play. That's 2nd best in the NFL. They are 1st in pass defense DVOA, and I think that they are going to be able to grab a lead in this matchup going up against Washington, and I don't know that, you know, once Washington falls behind, how are they going to be able to generate offense? I respect what Terry McLaurin has done so far this season, but based on this defensive line that the San Francisco 49ers are throwing out there, I mean, they're making a ton of plays and they're getting pressure as well. They also, you know, they have one of the best run games in the league right now with Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida under Kyle Shanahan. We do have to mention that it's a Kyle Shanahan revenge game as well going up against Washington. I think it makes Dan Snyder pay.
Yeah, we're starting to see what Tevin Coleman is and what he isn't. He shouldn't be getting the carries at the goal line as much anymore because he's not pounding those in. But I tell you what, you bring up a great point here on defenses, because the NFL loves the offenses, but when you look at it, the top 2 defenses are the only undefeated teams in the league. Should we start to weight the power of a defense a little bit more when we're trying to find the sharp lines here?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a really good point, Steve. Where we've seen the NFL the past couple of seasons was, if you were an efficient offensive team, you were one of the juggernauts in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs come to mind. The Los Angeles Rams come to mind from last year as well. And now look at those teams. Once you have tape on a team like that, you can start to figure things out a little bit more. It helps that, the San Francisco 49ers have, devoted so many of their draft picks, their early draft picks, to defense, and, the Patriots as well, and spending up. But I think we should pay attention to those defenses. Just when you think you have the NFL figured out from a fan perspective, from a betting perspective, it zigs, zags, and right now it seems like, whereas in years past, offense was the way to go, defenses are starting to come around.
In 2019, it is the year of the defense. At least it is so far. All right, the Chargers getting 2 points at Tennessee. Now, the Titans made a quarterback change this week, but more money is now flowing in on Tennessee. I mean, are we missing something about Ryan Tannehill here, Frank?
Look, if Ryan Tannehill can just get the ball in the hands of his playmakers, I guess that, can't hurt the Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota's, his confidence is shot right now. I mean, you watch the games. I understand he was an early draft pick, much like Jameis Winston. They came into the league together, but they haven't been able to figure out. I think that this quarterback change was actually necessary for the Tennessee Titans. They have players that can make plays. I mean, Corey Davis was drafted inside the top 10 picks. A.J. Brown has made plays already this season. They signed Adam Humphries for a reason. But when it comes to the Los Angeles Chargers, I mean, they are 8-2 straight up in ATS in their last 10 games, and it's been well documented that, they don't have a home field advantage. It might actually feel like they are the home team when they go on the road. They might feel more comfortable playing on the road, and I think that the numbers kind of bear that out. I'm looking at Phillip Rivers versus Ryan Tannehill, and I'm just trying not to overthink things. I understand the offense hasn't looked nearly as good since Melvin Gordon has returned, but if you remember, Ezekiel Elliott struggled in his first game back. He missed all of the offseason. Melvin Gordon, these first 2 games were basically his preseason, so he's still getting his legs underneath him, and the Chargers are expected to get Russell Okung back, who is one of their better run-blocking offensive linemen. I think that can only help Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler.
All right, so that is that's Frank's lean plays for the week. Make sure you check out his top plays and his toss-ups in our other segments. For Frank Stampfl of Sports Grid, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.